eModels.co.uk. Go make something awesome. Hello gang, Festa here from eModels. Welcome to Monday at the bench with me, Festa 67's workshop. Yes folks, and what are we up to tonight? We're carrying on with the 1/16th scale Andy's Hobby Headquarters even, Sherman Easy 8 folks. Yes, that's what we're up to. But the most important thing, what are you all up to? What's in the belly? What's on the bench? What is your beverage of choice, folks? Right, let's have a quick looky, kids, in the chat, and then we'll head back down to the bench so that you don't have to stare at my ugly mug. So let's just pop that out there. Sprue and Glue is in, saying hi, Colin. Hello, David. How you doing, mate? Hugs to you and Dave. Hope you're both doing all right. Crafted with Jacqueline is in, says hi, Colin. Hello, Jackie. Big hugs. Dream Builder Daniel is in. He says, hi Colin, I might be Z's in a while, mate, but I am supporting when I can. Not a problem, Daniel, because Daniel's on the continent and they're a bit ahead of us, folks. So, yeah, not a problem. Lee is in. He says, hi, host panel. Big thumbs up. Hello, Lee. How you doing, mate? Love to you and Jackie. Hope you're both all right. Wendy Hickson with an H is in, issuing hugs to everyone. Big hugs, Wendy. That's me saying hi to Jackie and issuing hugs to Wendy. Cassandra is in, saying good evening. Oh, hello, Cassandra. How you doing, mate? He says, evening, Cole. Hope you're all well. Fine and dandy, mate. It's been a bit windy, isn't it? Andy Preston's in, saying hello, everyone. Hello, mate. Hello, Andy. How you doing? Avenger 69 is in. Matt, he says, in Sweden, checking in. Hello, Matt. Hope you're doing all right out there, mate. Hopefully that horrible storm we've just had isn't going to wreak havoc on you, mate. But if it's on its way, just be careful out there, fella. Guru's in, says, evening, folks and folksesses. We'll be in and out of chat as I'm sorting dinner. Jeff Light is in, says hi, Cole, and all in chat. Hello, Jeff. How you doing, mate? Big hugs to Maggie as well, fella. And Steve is in, says good evening, Cole. Good evening, Steve, mate. How you doing? So it's going to move me chatty kids just to one side. Keith is in, says hi, Colin, and everyone in the chat. Ouch. Hope you're all well. Fine and dandy, mate. Fine and dandy. Bit chilly round the gills still, but, you know, it is what it is, mate. Cassandra says, what's that? Belly hanging head in shame. Oh, dear. What have we got here? Meat feast pizza, kebab meat and chips, fried chicken and chocolate cake. Ding dong, that's a ferro whack. Bench is a 72nd Edward Tornado GR1. He's photo etch in the cockpit. Switch. Beverage is a large can of Red Bull. You're going to need that. And Lord Barkley the third is in, says, evening peeps, evening my love. How you doing, mate? So let's pop me bench cam on and have a looky, kins, at where we got to on the last stream, folks. And I don't work on this between streams. I was going to pop ahead at one point, try and play a bit of catch up so that it's not too long and drawn out. But a few people messaged me and said, nah, carry on as you're doing it, mate. We're enjoying it bit by bit. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's just dig out the old instrucciones and see where we got to last time. Right. If you remember, we did the bracket for the back there that's going to have all the stowage on. So we done all the hinges and the side supports and all of that. Like, that's going to go on his rump. And then I've got a big load of stowage that is going on the back end of that. What else did we do, folks? Oh, yeah, we done all of the internals of the gun and all of that lot with all the sights and everything. We did a bit of that, and I haven't attached the shroud yet because I want to get this all painted first before this goes on. So we did all of that as well. So I'm just going to pop that there for safekeeping because I am renowned for being Captain Clumsy, folks. what else is going on in the chat? Lord Bartley says, evening peeps. Could you let me know audio and video as well, folks, just to put my mind at rest? Right, what have we got? Well, we've got obviously mocked up here, mind the camera, Cole. Obviously, we got Oddball and his crew all mocked up there. Let's just move that back a tad so you can see it. So, yeah, we got all of that going on still. So I'm going to be working on the inside of the hull tonight. But I went ahead and fettled Oddball a little bit so that he now fits properly in his hatch. So just a little bit of fettling was added on of that. Let's put a bit of light on that would help, Cole, wouldn't it? There you go. And put the studio lights on. I thought it was a bit dark in here. There you go. So yeah, you got Oddball and his crew there looking rather negative waves and all of that lot of board Turk. So we got a bit of that going on. So we're going to detach the hull and be working on the inside of that for a bit. So we've got the inside of the hatches to do. So we're going to pop all of that to one side for a minute, just to give myself a bit of space. There you go. Pop that in there, Cole. You can do it, mate. There you go. Proud of you. Right, so let's lose that. We're going to be putting in some bits and pieces for the gun and the hinges and that for the hatch. Bit of a shame, really, because you're not going to see none of this, but hey, we know it's there. Again, I won't be gluing the hull on until right at the last minute, because obviously I want to spray it all. So I might as well do it in halves, and then I'll do a marriage later on in the build, folks, if that's okay. We've got obviously little levers and things like that to go in. So we've drilled all the holes that we needed to along the sides. So I'm happy with where I am. I've also got little things to the side there, guns and things to do, and I'm going to be drilling out the holes on that. I've started one little bit just to test it out, but I just think it brings out a bit of detail, doesn't it? That's how it comes in the kit, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just drilling out the holes. Same with the barrel, because it just makes it look a little bit, for me, a little bit more real. Panzer's in saying hello. Hello, Panzer. How you doing, geezer? Bobbin says, I've just realised that I'm hungry. Time for a Ruby Murray. Happy days. Fox is saying that sounds good, as is Jackie, as is Lee as well. Jeff and Cassandra all saying, brilliant, thank you for that. Guru's bench is Death Corps Infantryman Bust, waiting for calm weather to be able to go outside and spray a matte varnish. Belly is roast chicken dinner, beverage water for now. Yeah, good to see you back at the bench though, dude, because it has been a wee while, hasn't it, mate? I know he was getting conscious of it. We'll make sure that's the right way round, Colt. And now apparently he's going to go and sit just in there on a couple of pins on the inside there, just a bit of reinforcement for where the gun scoots through. So we'll have him on. Yeah, the eagle-eyed will know we got an avid armour builder in the chat tonight. We got Panzer in, so he's going to be Rivet County. He's going to be watching everything I'm doing with an eagle eye, because I know he's going to be primed like a comedian's trip hammer, waiting to go. Yeah, bless him, in the nicest possible way, of course. So we'll just press that into place and let that bond like that. And then we've got the internal spring-loaded hinges for the hatches, he says. Like you know what it is, Cole, but it did reasonably good, didn't it? Where are they going to go? They're going to live in there, forward the way, so hopefully they fit. I haven't dry-fitted these yet. They do. If they don't, they don't. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Because don't forget, I've got my little hatches that I've put in, so they might need a bit of fettling. We'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, a little bit of fettling is going to be required on this. I'm going to have to get the Dremel out and machine them. So we'll leave them for tonight, because I need to fettle that just to get that to sit underneath there. See? Prior preparation, Cole. Not much of a fettle, but it's going to be a loud one on air, so I'm not going to do that because that'll be too noisy. So let's move on to something else. We can do a bit of assembly on the internals of these hatches. There you go. Have you a bit of that? I don't really want to get a Dremel out live on air because that's not fair on your ear holes, folks. So you can look at the camera and giggle, making a boo-boo. But hey, you know, it's all part of the fun, isn't it? So we'll just sand that. And then we've got all of the handles going in on the underside of said hatches. Let's bring the instructions out so I can actually see what I'm up to. There you go. And we are on that one. So we've got that going in there. Lee says, Belly was beef with rice, sweet and sour. Bench is fixing, laugh out loud. Oh, we had a bit of a boo-boo with the bench, mate. Oh dear, what happened? What happened? Tell us all about it, mate. What happened, mate? Let's just get a pair of tweezers out so that I can handle that a bit better. There you go. Yeah, what happened then, Lee? Come on, tell us all about it, mate. We have bench faux pas. I had one the other day. I went and put my iPad away and the actual shelf that it sits in absolutely disintegrated. So it was like, yeah, that was fun. So that practically destroyed the underside of the bench. Everyone's saying hello to Panzer. Fox is singing drill out the barrel. Panzer says, Cassandra, it's not rivet countering, it's constructive advice. Absolutely. He says, I will not rivet count honest. Yeah, you can't help yourself, mate. He sits there like a coiled spring, waiting, and you stop what you're doing and you go, oh, come on, Panzer, out with it. Yeah. He sits there giggling away to himself. It's like, yeah. It's each to their own. It's his niche at the end of the day. It's what he's good at. His armour. So he's entitled to have a bit of a nitpick, but it does fall on deaf ears. Right, let's sort that out. Bit of a nub on there. So we'll get rid of that. Trying to do it in a way where I'm going to actually keep hold of it. So, because, yeah. So how did we fare in Storm Aisha, folks? Was you all safe and well? Did it batter you a little bit wherever you're located? Because, yeah, it caused a little bit of a localised damage, but nothing massively spectacular. Well, it's not been reported locally yet, so... But the usual tree branches, that sort of thing, but... Helen said she saw a bit of damage on her way out to East Surrey, or West Surrey, should I say. It's all rosy. But it's like anything. You never used to get storms named in the UK, and then suddenly it's become a thing. And everyone now is like, oh, it's a big storm. Oh, what are we going to do? And it's... When we was kids, we used to walk to school at a 45-degree angle, didn't we? Because it was so windy. But now it's all named storms and disaster, and it's like, yeah. It does make you wonder why it's gone that way. Is it a media thing? Who knows? Anywho, not to worry. Don't forget, folks, as well, if you want to grab hold of this kit, there is a link for it in the description just below the video there. So if you fancy having a go at this, which I would highly recommend, to be honest with you. What have we got? Pans of roast gammon joint with boiled spuds and green beans. Bench, figures for a Matador truck, and beverage is coffee. Oh, nice one, mate. Nice one. Road trip the Panzers then. Fox says blustery here, but no damage that I spotted when I was out. Barkley says gammon mash with pickles. Absolutely, mate. Panzer says it's the wrong kind of storm. Yeah, tell me about it, mate. We've our local services, you know, it's the usual. Due to the storm, everything's delayed, and it's like, yeah, really? Come on. We had one power outage. We had broadband outage yesterday, which was slightly annoying, but hey-ho. And I've had one so far this evening as well, a broadband outage. So there are local issues with certain services still. So hopefully we stay on. But if you do suddenly lose us, apologies, but it's beyond my control at the moment. Seems to be the thing now, doesn't it? Every service drops, and it's like, it wasn't like this a few years ago. You know, we hadn't had power cuts for years, had we? And then all of a sudden, you get a couple of windy days and everything just pops off again. It's like, really? Why is that? Is it just an excuse? You never know. Right, let's get a bit of glue on there. It's going to be all the little bits and bobs this evening. Things like internals on hatches and that. Just to get everything started. And then these will all be added to the model once paint starts coming into the equation, which I'm looking forward to, I must admit. I am looking forward to a bit of paintykins with it. That's when the challenge really starts then, because you're bringing the tank to life then, aren't you? So I'm hoping, I am hoping I do it justice. I shall do my best to put it that way. But like I said, I am not an armour expert. So there's going to be mistakes on there. There's going to be things that people don't like. That's fine. That's your choice. But bear in mind, one, I'm not an armour aficionado, and two, it's only a plastic model, after all. Just get rid of that nub on the front there. Al McNichol, Belly is beef casserole and dumplings for dinner, he says, and evening all. Panzer had a wind-driven rain yesterday evening on my way to work. Mobile signal went out at around 6 p.m. and has only just come back. Yeah, Fox says, Festa's only doing little bits, but they do look bigger when they're on his bench. Yeah, my bench seems to have an habit of magnifying parts into supermassive scale. We had this where we did our Bane blades. Fox's looked like an Airfix 1/72, and mine looked like, yeah, a 1/16. I think it's the camera. That's my excuse. I'm sticking with it for what it's worth. Just give that nub a gentle caress. It says, desperately trying not to ping anything, because I've already had one visit to the Carpet Monster pre-show. I lined everything up on the bench and sneezed, and everything just scooted straight across, ricocheted, and went everywhere in the man cave. So, yeah, I had a bit of a dynamic moment. Happens to us all, though. Let's lose that. Then we can pop that in there. Grab that. Drop that on there. A little bit of glue. Put a bit of white cap on that, because I want these bits to stick. These hatches are going to be open as well, because obviously I've got crew popping their heads out. So there you go. That's a point, Panzer, whilst you're in the chat. Got a question. Let's just move those fractionally out of the way. Let's grab the top half of the old. Right, just a quick pick of your brains, Pens, me old chisel. These hatches, mate, how far do they open? Do they go all the way like so? Out of interest, because obviously I've got a couple of geezers that are going to be poking their heads out. See, so I don't know how far, whether they go right over or whether they stop just at this little part here. So I wasn't sure, mate. So, out of curiosity, just a quick question. Because, yeah, obviously they've got to open enough for the geezers to put their canisters out, but it's how far they put their canisters out that I'm unsure of. So, and I thought, well, being that you're in the chat, I'll impart a question to your very good self. There you go. Have you a bit of that? So, yeah, I was quite worried before I went live because I didn't know whether or not I was going to have internet. So, as you can imagine, a few dagnammits were had at 1:45 when the broadband went for the second time tonight, and I was like, geez, yeah. Words to that effect. We're here. Because I do enjoy this little Monday show, I must admit. It was something I was really nervous about when I first started doing them. But I have had such a lovely reaction from you all. So, yeah, it really has made my day, to be honest with you. I shall keep them coming. There you go. Let's try and line that up a bit better with that little recess there, Cole. Bosh. Try not to squish it with your big old thumb. They stand up. They don't lay flat. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you for that. Saying Philip Prime is in, saying hello to everyone. Hello, Philip. As is Anders. He says, hello, friends. I'm late again, becoming a bad habit. Not a problem, buddy. Cassandra says I had to get the Hoover and sock out earlier. Oh, yeah. To find a handle for an ejection seat. Oh, right. Is that what it was for? The 172nd today, don't swear jar has been topped up significantly. Absolutely, mate. I do have a official swearing box. Look at that. Yeah. And as you say, like the Fox, Carl's scale modelling is in. Says good evening, Colin, and all in chat. Hello, Carl. How you doing, buddy? Athol says hi, Carl and Michelle. Oh, hi, Michelle as well. Hope you're keeping well. Matt B is in as well. There you go. So we got Michelle as well. So Michelle must obviously be Carl's better half than Athol, the one that issues instructions. Yeah. So, happy days. Hello, Mrs. Carl, anyway. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. We like meeting everyone. Because we're inquisitive folks in this community. We like to know who's who and who's with who and whose names they are, just so that we can involve partners in these little streams. It just makes them feel loved as well, doesn't it? That's what it's all about. Because we are a big family at the end of the day. And that's what this is all about. A little bit of family time. There you go. Philip saying good evening. Carl, how you doing, Philip? Hope you're keeping well, mate. And hope you've fared well in the current weather events, should we say. Because, yeah, it's all centre testers, buddy, isn't it? Have any of you done old man whinging about the weather yet? Because I know I have. I was stood at the window, yeah, having a proper Alf Garnett moment. And then was joined by my missus, who was also having a bit of a weather wibble as well. So I kind of felt a lot better after that, if I'm honest. And her wet weather wibble was far better than mine because she's got to go out and drive in it. So, yeah. So she had a proper good sesh, bless her. There you go. And then we've got a tiny little internal hatch to do on that because we've got a little insert. I've got it just there. And these have got to be painted yet, but I'm dry fitting them just to get this flap at the right angle on the top there that's inside there. So, yeah, because I want my flap to look good, don't I? All about your flap. Right, let's find the appropriate spring. We want a 23, which is one of them. review some of him. Yeah. I was saying the other week, Pans, when I was last on this show, the detail that I'm able to pick out in 16th scale is really going to help when I do their Ryefield ones. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I would thoroughly recommend this scout to anyone. I know Steve at TSM's got a fair bit of 1/16 stuff. He's got one of these that he's going to be doing, and he's just been doing the Willis Jeep as well. And, yeah, so fair play. I get it. You know, they are nice to do. And like I say, when this is done, it's going to be up right next to Fox's Eagle at eModels. Eagle was mentioned. So, yeah. So you'll be able to see it up there. Let's make sure that we're going to get that angulated in the correct orientation of the angulage. He says optimistically. And then we can get that put in. So, yeah, that then sits at the top there with said flappage on it. So we could technically dry fit that off the build. So, yeah, we'll do it that way. So let's just get that the right way round. Cool. Angle of the dangle towards there like so, and then the flap will go on in there. Happy days, so we'll do that. I've got to find me flap. There it is. Lord Bartley says, one day there'll be a storm named after me. I just need to get some brown envelopes to the Met Office. It's a good shout. Yeah. Fox says, Panzer, there are no hurricanes heading to the UK tomorrow. Yeah, are any of you on Tornado Watch? That was a thing that I noticed earlier on the old news. Tornado warnings in the UK being issued. That's a new phenomenon, isn't it? Just seems strange, doesn't it, to hear tornado warnings being mentioned in our little old country, because that's normally reserved for the big boys, isn't it? There you go. I'm flap set. So, yeah, I was surprised at that, to be honest with you. Didn't expect it. But I think there was one up your area, or towards your area, Guru, wasn't there, the other week? A tornado went through somewhere up in Cheshire. Just goes to show you, doesn't it, how things change. Is Michael Fish still with us? Because, yeah, you never know. He might pop up on the telly and go, yeah, someone's just rung in and said there's an hurricane coming. Don't worry. It ain't happening. Yeah, that went really well. That did, didn't it? It used to be back in the day that the odd roof tile would get knocked off, but now it's proper catastrophic stuff going on, and it's quite worrying, really. Let's see whether we can get a bit of glue on those, get them in place. Pick that up with a tweezers or tweezer edge and see whether we can get that in place. So I don't want to press down on that flat, because be just my luck. And yeah, he's going to press straight down on it, because, yeah, why not? So we'll set that again in a minute. Going well, isn't it? Here you go. Now we can just pull them down now with the tweezers, get them pins located. Here you go. Same that side. Same there. Yeah. Captain Twitchy. And then we can pop that back open, just like that. Comes in handy just having that. You can just pop your flaps up, because, yeah, that sounded quite wrong, didn't it? Apologies for that. All right, we've got some handles, hooks, and things like that to go on there. So let's grab a couple of those. bring that back onto the screen. Actually, that's got to go in there, isn't it? Yeah, so let's pop that in place. And then that can sit with the flat, can't it? Safe and sound just off to the left there in the safe zone. Because otherwise I will clumsily, yeah. So which side was which? That was that one, I do believe. Yep. Methinks. Let's just dry fit that just to make sure. Yep, that's correct. So that's that side. So that optimal powers of deduction is that one. There you go. I'm only asking that because I want to get my flaps pointing the right way. Yeah. Doesn't matter whether they're slightly off because they do. I'm right in thinking they rotate anyway. So, all right, let's put those safely to one side whilst the hole comes on the bench because it is quite big. I'll move that little lot just off shot up there for now. I'll do them later on with a Dremel. A little quick tidy up there, right? Let's bring that back on because we have got some handles and things to go on the front there. So we'll grab some of that. Get the ball rolling with those. What have we got? Guru says there's nothing worse than a wet wibble. Cassandra says you don't have a wet wibble, it's more like a moist moan. Oh, mildly moist. Moist. Panzer says I built many years ago the Tamiya full RC Tiger and Persian tank in 1/16. Oh, mate. Yeah. Fault of you going round in an RC tank. Was you dressed in full military gear when you was operating this? I bet you were, weren't you? You was in a little foxhole, weren't you? Yeah. Carl Scale modelling, yes, Colin Michelle's the one holding the skillet pan. Absolutely, mate. Just nod accordingly in her direction every now and then, mate. Makes them feel better, apparently. Panzer says, Carl, did we all crash out at the same time earlier, or was it just me? Sandra says tornadoes happened in Birmingham, though that could just be around the Curry Mile. Yeah, absolutely. And he says, yeah, belly coffee bench, belly fish, bench elbow. And just you, he says, Panzer, we called it a day then anyway. Yeah, it's one of them. I had broadband pop yesterday when I was live. It was, yeah. And then obviously when it comes to a re-going, it just would not connect back to YouTube. It was dead. So it had gone over its delayed time and just killed the stream off. So we did try for part 2, but just didn't have it. So not to worry, you didn't miss much. We was closing down the show anyway. So, but yeah, really nice gallery on there as well. So I was most happy with that. Talented modelers out there, there really are. I just want to lose the seam off of there. Trouble is, you never know. I had to check this with Pans the other week when I first started this. You got to keep an eye on some of the seams because you think they're mould lines, but actually they might be casting lines. So, yeah. Something I wouldn't normally have noticed, but certainly in this scale, it has become a thing. So I do a little bit of research every now and then. Let's dry fit those just to see whether they go in place, which they do. It does. Light extension on the drilling hole required there. Could just be the angle that I'm approaching it. Sounded right, didn't it? Yeah, I just want to enlarge them holes a tad. So let's get the drill bits of enlargement out. Just to give those a little bit, Because if I remember rightly, I went slightly smaller than the hole needed. So I would rather it be snug. Just gently run the drill through there. So there you go. Do the same on that one. Give that a quick clean off. And try again. There you go. Perfect. That's what we want. So that solution was the better solution. Comes in handy. Just dry your rolls. Larger rolls even. We can pop that on. And then we'll do the same the other side. Must have been so claustrophobic in these. I think I've said this before, but to be crammed up in one of these months on end must have been an absolute nightmare. Was you a tank person, Pens, out of interest? You know, did you end up shoehorned in a shoebox for months on end, Geese? You know, was it a hostile environment, cooning around in these tanks for months on end, you know? Often wonder. Because, yeah, I could imagine it smelt of dry feet. Smelt of man. You know, so. But then you're not going to worry about that when you're being shot at, are you? So, yeah. But yeah, I've often wondered what it was like to be cooped up in there and, yeah. Any of you in the chat, ex-servicemen? Service women as well, of course. But, yeah, ex-services. Because, yeah, something I find remarkably interesting and, yeah. Right, dinner's ready for inhalation, says Fox. I'll be back shortly. Anders says, what's that? Macklin Spiz is a saying here when someone is about to take a food break. Oh, right, yeah. Middays. Probably just destroyed your language, mate. Apologies. I'll try my best. There you go. So that is perfect. So we're happy with that. So we might as well glue that on. And this is the thing. This is all the little small pieces that are going on the build now. So it does start embellishing it, I must admit. Yeah. Beginning to come together. It's beginning to look a bit more like a tank. I think there's some of them that go at the back somewhere, but we'll get round to them when the instructions call me for them. That's got glass in it, so we'll build the lights. When can we build them? We'll come back and build them towards the end because they'll be hand painted. We've got gunnage to go through. Now we want to feed that through from the underneath, so again, be building it off the model. They go in there, the gun will then feed through with its end cap. So we can start getting a bit done on the gun. And bring that through. We got that, and that as well. Just bring them out and make sure, because I shall dry fit everything, because the gun feeds through from behind through these bits. So I don't want to put the end on the gun yet, because otherwise I won't be able to feed it through. It says there, it's feeding it through from behind through these two rings. So they'll go on. So buried in there, a little nipple on there, so we can grab that, give that a glue. all my technical terms for tanks are coming out, and I can imagine he's sitting there face palming everything I'm saying, bless him. I'll try my best, Pants, honest. The shame he's going, the shame. Right. What we got? Bobbins, my curry is now entering my face. Oh, nice one, mate. Cassandra says, watching some videos on YouTube, they look very cramped unless you're about 5 foot tall and as skinny as a rake. Yeah, I know. Anders says, yeah, you're not destroying it, Cole. You're trying to teach us some. Athol says, seeing that you asked, Colin, he says, I'm an ex-RAF ground radar operator. Oh, nice one, mate. Well, as I always say to service people, thank you for your service, mate. Oh, yeah. There you go. Radar operator. Oh, nice one, mate. Absolutely, mate. Fair play to you, Al. Was you in long? We want to get an angle on that, don't we, before we glue that in. So let's just check. That goes all the way through. He says optimistically. How far through does it go? Let's have a looky, Kinsey. It goes all the way through, so we might need to enlarge that. Because apparently that's supposed to slide over that barrel. As you can see, it don't. Well, actually it does here. It's a tight fit. So. Okay, I'm happy with that. So much so that we can put a little bit of glue just across there. Just to get that in some semblance of a position. And then I'll adjust it with a gun from behind, because that apparently sits in the front of the hole, which I'm going to get, because I don't want the gun pointing at the stars, do we? So let's just quickly do a dry fit. Trying to get this on the bench now is quite challenging. But the only reason I want to dry fit it at the moment is I just want to put the gun in and try and get it at a jaunty angle that looks right, reasonably right. Reasonably right. Something like that. Let's poke in more or less level as he's driving down the road. There you go. Something like that. Dun, 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 dun. It's a bit bronze and list though, isn't it? Let's just level that up a bit. There you go. Happy days. So we can now pop that out of there and smooth the edges. Happy with that now. Panzer says, actually, I'm thinking, can I manage some cold gammon with pickle on a sandwich, or will I burst? It's just the wafer fin. Go for it, Pans. Come on, mate. Go for it. Fridge raid. Fridge raid. What else have you got? What else have you got that you can slap on there, mate? Going for a full blokey sandwich here, folks. So what else, ingredients-wise, can we throw on Panzer's sandwich? Got to be a proper vein buster, this one, because, you know, he's a working man. And it's cold outside. So we want to keep him full of sustenance. This is where you go and stand in front of your fridge, Pans, and you tell us all what you got on the shelf, and we concoct the world's worst vein-busting blokey sandwich in the world. Because why not? Right, so we got that. Let's get some gunnage done. Because I want to drill some holes through that and all. We might as well, because yeah, it needs it. Just bring out a little bit of detail in the barrel, to be quite honest with you, because, yeah, it's there, you could bung a wash in it, but I just think a little bit more holiness would look a bit better. Just a personal preference, that's all. And then we've got that to go in. A tiny little bit. God. Anyone's going to ping that across the bench, it's going to be me, isn't it? Let's have a looky, Kins, and dry fit this. It comes up the way like so. We might as well pop that into place. Like that. Yeah, let's get rid of that nub on the end there. There's the tiny wincy little bit. There you go. And have we got something there as well? That's better. Right. Cassandra says, Panzer, you eat that and burst and you'll be called Mr. Creosote. Exactly. Yeah, it's just the wafer thin pans. Athol says, Panzer, enjoy a nice chilled glass prune syrup to wash it down. Oh, nice. Lord Bartley says, go with the explosion. Cassandra says, some juicy sausages, runny fried egg, tomatoes, and maybe some crisps. Get in there. He says in the fridge. Oh, brilliant. He's only got to done it. Panzer says, in the fridge I have bacon, pate, cheese, more cheese, milk, lettuce, and emergency cheese. Right. You want some bacon, and if you've got different cheeses there, you want a selection from each cheese, mate. If it ain't sliced, then do it in doorstep slices, mate. Pack it on there, geez. And cook it up, mate. Go for it. That's brilliant. The fact that he went down to the fridge. Good man. Like what you did there, Pans. Yeah, he's going to be sat there in about 15 minutes going, stick a fork in me, I can't move. Let's try to get that lined up a bit better because it's a bit tight. But it could just be that it goes in a slightly jaunty angle to get it to fit. That's what I'm thinking, which is actually too tight. So let's just trim that down a tad. He says optimistically, let's get me tweezers on there and pop that back off. Because I don't want too much strain on that. I'd rather it be trimmed down, to be honest with you. Let's just do that. There you go. So yeah, this is going to be the sandwich of vein-busterness. Now, if we hear later on that Panzer's been admitted to his local hospital because he's had a cholesterol spike, none of us are going to take the blame, mate. We're going to throw it firmly on your shoulders. You're going to be thrown so far under that bus. And I think all of us in here will just sit here with deniability going on. It'd be, nah, it wasn't us. Big boy did it and run away. There you go. That's better. Happier. And that'll work for me. Apparently that little bit goes in there somewhere. Eyes of seeing this. Yeah, sits on top of there. Oh, God. How long do we give it? That is the tiniest of little bits. Surely they could have made that part of it. Who knows why? Let's just quickly sand that off. Panzer says, I would have gammon cheese, lettuce, pickle sandwich on seeded bran bread. Yeah, go for it. Go on, mate. Go for it. That does sound like a culinary delight, I must admit. I am sure it will go down well, mate. Right, let's just see what that looks like. Because our eyes of seeing this. Yeah, so it comes round with the larger section towards the rear. That's what we want. Okay. Let's just drop that off. And pop that in place. There you go. What's the bet in Calamity Festa knocks that flying at some point, that little bit. But it's a shame because you go to all this trouble and actually you're not going to see that anyway because it's buried inside. So, but we know it's there. That's the thing. We know it's there, folks. Right, so we got some of those. So yeah, we could trim that out. So let's let that dry before we do any drillage. Don't need that drill yet. Let's just put them away, be on the safe side. There you go, pop that over there. And we'll get off these little bits of bobs here now, I think. Start dressing up this hole a bit more. Right. We've got an M17. So let's do this side by side, I think, because I can imagine if I fill up the bench, it's going to be proper packed solid with bits, and I'm going to lose track of what's what. So I'll get one of these done today. And the other side's just going to be me mirroring it. So just grab that off of there. And a couple of the peas. I like peas. But we can get one side of these done. So that's P19 on that side. Let's grab one of them. He says, looking for it, it's just there, Cole. Like that. Grab that. There. And P18. So let's have one of them. Excuse me, and M51. Athol says, I like peas and cheese. Exactly, he says. Panzer says, Warburton seeded brown bread is the best available bread. I can't stand the Co-op's fine now. Farmhouse white loaf. Well, we're going through the ingredients here. Bobbin says, thick blobs of mustard. Anders says, wider lettuce. Yeah, garnish. Athol wants to know, is the gammon smoked or unsmoked? Good question. Good question, mate. Yeah. Because we need to know all of the details, Pens. You know, this is how it works, mate. You know, we need to know all of the ingredients, mate. Not some of them, but all of them, mate. Why not? There you go. Get rid of that off of there. According to that, that is that side, so we'll have that. Pop that in place. And then we can grab that as well. Just trim that off of there. Bosh. So, right. We need to think better the next time that I'm doing this show, because this tank now is growing to the size where it's becoming quite apparent that it's going to fill the bench, isn't it? So yeah, I will need to have a bit of a dung round for the next stream so that we can accommodate this a bit easier. So let's just move them along there for a minute, and then we can pop that so that stuff is reasonably in shot for you. There you go. And I'll have it adjust my camera setup as well, because that's the thing, as the build is beginning to grow, I need to make sure that you can all see what I'm showing you. So apologies if it did go off shot, but can't be helped. I just want to get any nubs off of the side of this as best we can. Let's just move the distractions a bit, because they're in the way. Try not to drop the parts as well, because I don't want to do that. Just pop that out of the body just for a sec. A little bit disorganised today. So how are we getting on with this sandwich? Jack, he says, should be a gammon and chip buddy. Oh, yeah, chips, Jack. Oh, yeah. Oh. I had fish finger sandwich earlier, Jack. Oh, it was like I was 5 again, all over again. Oh, it's proper made up I was. I had line of fish fingers, line of chips, line of fish fingers. Oh, honestly, I had a beard full of batter. Breadcrumbs, whatever you want to call them. But yeah. And there was me saying to H, yeah, see, I've always loved you, my darling. She went, yeah, it's just because I've done you a fish finger sandwich. I said, yeah, I know. They say to him, way to a man's heart is through his belly. Yeah, proper nice fish finger sandwich. Old school, innit? People on the continent probably cringe at the British diet, but we're a strange race when it comes to our foods. We're set in our ways. And, you know, we're kids from the 70s at the end of the day, and a fish finger sandwich was a meal back then because, yeah, times were different. Stuck with us because it takes us back to when we was kids and that era. So that's why we tend to go for these strange little things in our diet. It's like, yeah. All part of the fun, isn't it? Right, apparently these go in here. Then this will all go on to the tank. That's the theory anyway. We want to try and get these reasonably lined up. Might be better to do it actually on the vehicle. Let's have a look. Let's have a looky-loo at what we got. What's he saying there? Meant the camera, not your mind, says Anders. Maybe through his belly with an upward thrust. What are those blocks you're using, says Carl. Oh, these are... Excuse me, mate. Let's just move that for a sec. These are the God-hand sanders from our good friends over at eModels, mate. Excuse me. Come in a little packet like so. Some of them. All different grades. And to be honest with you, mate, they really are stunning. I swear by them now. As you can see, I use these constantly now in my builds. You've got different grits. You've got 120, 240, 400. You then got 600, 800, and 1,000 in that pack. And yeah, I just find them nice and easy to handle, giving it the beans. Also got the sanded strips as well. You can get them in strip form as well. So yeah, that's what they are, mate. They're God-hand sanders, mate. Available from the sponsor, eModels. One-stop shop for all your model making needs. So yeah, that's what they are, mate. And yeah, so excuse the pun, but they are a godsend. See what I did there? But yeah, all the things I'm using are available in store. So pop along and have a visit, folks. You know you want to. Apparently that goes up like that. And then these bits come up the way. That's what they're saying. But there's a light to go in there, isn't there? So if I fit them and make the grill for the front, I ain't going to get the light in, am I? I come back to them as well. Try fit them at a later date, because I've got to start planning, haven't I, for this sort of thing, because you've got different fixtures and fittings going on. We want to make sure everything is gonna fit. So I've got to put them in a bag of protectiveness, because I just need to plan all of those light fittings carefully, because otherwise I'm not going to get them in place. So let's put them in my little box of the parts not to be lost. And come back and just have a looky, kins. I can do that. I can do the devil's metal. Devil's metal. So let's put that out of the way for a second and dig out the devil's metal. things. I've just got to stand up and grab me stuff out of the box. Because we got photo etched. He says optimistically. Move that out a bit. Drop that. Let's try and find the photo etch now. There's some. There it is. Buried in. Got that lot. A bit of devil's metal. No, that's polythene bags. There it is. Buried right down there. I chose this model specifically because it has the least amount of photo etch in it, and I think you'll be proud of it. I really do. I don't. Just try and get that out the bag. There's the photo etch. Wow, what a challenge. Try and find the other parts that I need. Right. Let's move that again. It's such a big model, it really is. It's like, yeah, challenging, slightly challenging, just to get it all on shot. I'll have a bit of a change round for the next show. Right, what do you want? Oh, 5. So let's grab that. I'll have a look at the chat in a sec, folks. I'll catch up with you in a second. I'm just trying to grab part that I can actually build for you, because yeah, it's some of the smaller parts are just going to be problematic at the moment until I've done all of the little sub-assemblies. So I'm going to end up with a box load of greeballs at the end that will just be added to the build at the end. But for the moment, I'm going to try to get stuff that you can see on screen done. What else have we got? We've got my belly to stop that rattling. R18. There you go. Ka-ching. Ching. Clean that up. So we got that to go on. Like a game of Jenga. If you could see me now trying to balance all these sprues, you'd be pretty impressed with me. At least I hope you would. There for a second. So we got that. We got that. We need an M34. We've got a flap to put in, which is there. So we'll have that. Why not? Now that's going to end up getting wrecked with all the handling, so that will be built off the model as well, that little mirror. But we can put them brackets on, so let's have one of those off. So I'm trying to think of where I'm going to be handling the model, because I'm quite heavy-handed, as you know. I'm going to be throwing this around the bench, building it. There's going to be things like mirrors and stuff like that I'm going to knock flying at this stage. So I'm going to build all of them off, and then they'll get painted off the model, and then it'll all come together at the end. That's my theory anyway. Hopefully it'll work out for me. If it don't, I shall cry like a girl, flail my arms and legs about like a boo-boo. Because, yeah, and that's the devil's metal that I've got. Massive amount of photo etch there, folks. How the hell I'm going to do that lot, I don't know. It's going to be a challenge, isn't it? Right, let's catch up with me chat and see what's going on. So I'm just going to scroll up. Yes, I can do it. Panzer says you can't beat a fish finger sandwich. You can't, mate. Cassandra says, I believe they are little sanding blocks. Yes, you are correct, mate. They are the God Hand sanders, mate. All different grades of sander in various packets, mate. Phil East is in the evening, he says. Good evening, Phil. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. Carl says, thanks, I like the look of them. Honestly, Carl, they are a godsend, mate. Excuse the pun. Yes, I know this is an eModels show, but, you know, I am being impartial when I say they are good. You know, if I didn't think something was usable, I wouldn't use it. It's that simple, mate. But no, I've been using these now a little while. And, yeah, I've brutalised a couple with me travels. But, all in all, yeah, I like the convenience of them. You know, they're just there, aren't they? What have we got now? Digger Evans Railways is in. He says, hi, everyone. Hello, Digger. How you doing, mate? Lovely to see you. To see you nice. Everyone saying hello to Digger. Cassandra says, just checked out those sanding blocks. They're only £6, an absolute bargain. They are, mate. You know, it's... For me, I just like I say, they're short, they're sweet, you can just, they fit in your hand. You've not got a big old sanding stick that you can knock everything flying with. And yeah, I like them. I really do. Billy says, how is everybody tonight? He says, I hope all is well. We're fine and dandy, Phil. How are you, mate? Hope you're safe and well. James is in. He says, good evening, Colin, and all in chat. Festa hugs. Good evening, James. Love to you, Alicia, and Shania. And hopefully Shania's all tucked up in bed in the land of sleepykins, mate. Bless her. Everyone saying hello to James. Hansa says, did you say a light behind the grill? It's the grill next to the left-hand light on the old... Yeah, hold up a sec. Let's just move that off the instructions for a second. Yeah, see, it's got a grill on it, mate. See it? There you go. And obviously you got your lights. But see, I don't know whether I'll be able to get the light in if I have these shrouds fitted, mate. So I'll do that off shot. Purely because, yeah. I am clumsy, as you know. But yeah, there's 3 different loops. 2 have got no grill. One's got a, what I would class as like, it looks like a St. George's cross shape in the middle of it. But it's got a little light that sits on there as well, just on the edge there. See it? So, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah. What have we got? Everyone saying hello to James. Anders says, have you printed stowage? How about the speaker? Yes, I have, mate. I've shown it many weeks, mate. I think you've asked me before on this one, mate. I have got an absolute shed ton of stuff that I've printed. And in answer to your question, again, there's the speaker. Because you can't have Oddbod without the speaker. And then I've got the logs from the Takom Fury, because I'm going through different films that they appeared in, and I've got all kinds of different things like little tin boxes, jerry cans, rolled up bags, sandbags, all kinds of things to go on there, as well as I bought a kit full of stowage, got buckets as well. Get your buckets here. Atol will be pleased. Paperclip handle. Come on, Atol. I listen to you. Right down to little things like spanners for the toolboxes. So we got all of that stuff that I printed, as well as we're on a bit of a mission here. Obviously, I printed me figures. We got Oddbod, Turk with his modified arm, and then we've got a couple of different crew guys. So we got all of those. And then he says, hunting for it. Where's your jiffy bag of jiffiness? There it is. There it is, mate. Get in there. Don't need that yet. I then went out and bought a bigly set of resin sculpts. I don't think I've had all of these out yet on the show, so it gives you a chance to see other things that I've got for this. I built a rack last week that goes on its Aris, and on that, in the model, would be the jerry cans. But on mine is going to be ammo boxes with a tarp and all of that lot thrown over it. And then that's going to sit just on the rump of the back of the hole there, folks. So that's that lot. We've then got sleeping mats, whatever you want to call them, rolled up tarps, ammo boxes, more stuff there with bales and detritus on there with loads of buckles. We've got kit bags, load of them to go on there. Some more boxes there with storage in them, little tin boxes. Ones with hats on, drinks, bottles, all of that. The obligatory plank, folks, that goes across between the front drive wheels that they can then stack stuff on the front angled section of the tank. So, yeah, I've got a bit of stowage, mate, because probably not, I'm not sure whether I'll use it all. I haven't decided yet, but it's there, put it that way. I could fill this bad boy up and have it so full of stowage that it could barely drive, but I just think it brings it to life, and it's just something different, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. So that was a nice little set, and that was just a little touch that I wanted to do for the guys at eModels, because at the end of the day, they're good enough to send me this to build for them. The least I can do is just go a little bit of that extra mile for them, just to show my appreciation to them, because I wear the eModels gig a bit like a badge of honour. See it as a huge privilege that they asked me to do this, and you know, I just like to show how grateful I am by going the extra mile for them. Hopefully, my friend, that answers your question on stowage, mate. What have we got there? Billy says, Pans, is there any chance I could pick your brain with a few tank questions at some point? Go ahead, Phil. Ask what you want, mate. Athol saying hi to Lee. Retro Rabbit is in saying hi, kids. Hello, Retro. How are you, buddy? Lovely to see you. Digger says, cheers, Festa. Not a problem, mate. My privilege, mate. My privilege. Who else is in? Let's have a look. Guru says, I've returned and fed, but I have got, dude, I've got ping burgers tonight, mate, purely and simply because H is out tonight and I am home alone. So, yeah, I got Rustler's bacon and beef burgers. And yeah, so Billy says, yeah, about his questions for Pans. So ask away, mate. Use the chat as well if you need to, mate. I'm sure he'll be happy to sit and answer them. Panzer says, anytime. Big thumbs up. Carl's going to be doing some shopping. You can find the God-hand sanding sponges and such here. Yes, I have a link in the description, Fox, as well, that I mentioned earlier. There is a link in there to the eModels God-hand range, but thanks anyway. Carl says, I'm going to have a butcher's. Anders says, looks great. Sorry if I repeated myself. You never need to apologise here, mate. I do forget things, so not a problem, mate. Many people have asked me, because Jeff Light come up with the idea of doing Oddbod and his mates, and obviously you can't have Oddbod without Speaker. Now, Panzer's in the chat and his ears will be pricking here. I know he will, because he's going to be saying, I think you'll find that was a different Sherman. This Sherman is going to be a what if. Different films that have had Shermans in of various varieties. It's just a little hodgepodge, mate. So I know it's not probably not the correct one, but I don't care. It's just my little interpretation of things I think of in films. I'm currently going through Band of Brothers, so I'm going to be adding some little snippets on the print menu to add from that as well. There you go. You're more than welcome. He says all the other God-hand tools, they are lovely. Absolutely. That's what I'm using. Retro says, I have the boss's Audi RS6 that I've been fixing for months, home with me tonight on a shakedown. Oh, road trip, wheel spins, absolutely. Yeah. Fox says, I may have to pay you to print me a load of that stowage. I've got absolutely shed loads of 35th and different size stowage that I can scale up and down for you, geese. So there is a lot of it, mate. I'll go, when we next in Hangout, Fox, I'll go through my stash of stowage that I've got in my CAD program, mate. And yeah, because I enjoy it. I like sitting there creating stuff and doing silly things. Some of it I'll buy. Purely simply because I can then 3D scan it, see, and then obviously printing it just for myself. Yeah, there you go. So it gets a bit of a nubbage off of there. But yeah, it is. It's one of them, especially like you say, when you have your own 3D printers, you can really go to town and just sit there and come up with all your own little bits that you can add to your dioramas. And it's brilliant for me because I'll be sitting here building something and I think, oh, I could just do with some oil drums in the corner of there. And it's like, oh, I've got some of them on the 3D print archives. There you go. They're on the print bed and printing. Job done. So yeah, anyone that says to me about, are 3D printers worth it? Yes, they are. Just for that alone. They really are useful to have. And again, especially if you break something, because there's always a file out there of what you're looking for. So if you're heavy-handed like me and you damage something, you can be rest assured that there's going to be a file of it somewhere. Especially if you're not great with CAD stuff. There's always sites out there where you can obtain a STL file or an object file of what you're looking for. So, yeah, don't be perturbed, folks. So we got a bit of that going on. But yeah, they're goddamn pliers. These are the Blade 1 nippers. Again, absolutely beautifully made. Come with a little cap. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Yeah. There's a video that I've done on these that is up on the eModels channel as well, folks. But yeah, and they really are the Rolls Royce of nippers. You know, I know we say it, but we mean it at the end of the day. They're tools and equipment that we use every day. You watch any of my live streams, you'll see me sitting there using this equipment because it really is what it says on the tin at the end of the day. A godsend, as I say. Pun deliberately intended on that one. But yeah, I'm more than happy to promote them purely because they are a quality product. There you go. That's a couple of little whatever they are on the front. They told you, Panzer, I'm a man of very limited tank knowledge, but I'm happy. Right, so we got that ring of ringness to go round there. So let's finish cleaning that off. Yeah, he says all that stowage is cried out for Imperial tanks and Bane blades to stick it to, yes. Retro says, yes, it's a 450 horsepower twin-turbo V8, but I have to behave with it. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. You're going cruising in it later down the old... you're doing a bit of the Fast and Furious, aren't you? You're doing a street race. Come on. Come on. Anders says, talking about Bane of Brand of Brothers, finally this week Masters of the Air is released. Oh, brilliant. Now, because I've got Pacific, I've got Band of Brothers, and yeah, I've been looking forward to that. Oh, nice one. Be looking out for that. Sure, me and Panzer will have a fight to get the tin box set of that, because why not? Got the others in my collection. I might as well have that one. And I did enjoy Band of Brothers, I must admit. I'd never watched it. I was in Hangout with Pans one night, and he said, have you ever watched Band of Brothers? And I was like, no, because I was on about Saving Private Ryan, that I think is probably one of the best scenes of war I've ever seen. On is the opening session where they're coming up on the beach, and yeah, and he said, "Oh, dude," he said, "give Band of Brothers a watch." And I sort of said, "I've never watched that," blah 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 blah. And we had a good hour's convo on it, and I went out in the end and bought the box set. And yeah, what a series! Wow. Yeah, if you've never watched it, go and give it a watch, or else I will grass you up the panzer for not watching. Yeah. Really is well made. Every bit of that is brilliantly done. Let's just pop that in there. Then we can line them up somewhere like that. A weird looking thing. But hey ho. Apologies, I'm off shot there, folks. Can't help that. It's just I'm having to use my eyes of seeingness to line something up. And yeah. Yeah, go. You will go. Get some extra fin on that, I think. Be on the safe side. But yeah, definitely worth a watch, that program. A bit of welding glue. Always does the job. You will fit. Yeah. Something around there. Bosh. There you go. Right. Move that off there. What have we got next? We've got to clean that up, and that up. How are we doing for the Harry line? Oh, we've got half hour yet. But yeah, I've watched Band of Brothers, watched Pacific. I want to, like I say, I want to give them a rewatch, especially Pacific. Midway through Band of Brothers, purely because of the fact that I'm doing this Sherman. I want to try and get some little bits off of the Band of Brothers in there. Why not? So yeah, it's just little things I can add to the Sherman. I was asked whether I was going to do a dio for it. Could you imagine the size of the dio? And bearing in mind this has got to be shipped back to eModels as well. So yeah. Especially Fox, if it was one of my long and narrow dios. Could you imagine that? Bobbins, yeah, you've got a good point there. He says Band of Brothers is one of the best TV dramas ever made. I wouldn't disagree with that, mate, to be honest with you. Panzer says, can I recommend Fury if you want a good idea of what living in the tank is like? Yeah, I watched that recently, actually. That's where I got my logs from, Pans, that go down the sides there, mate. I saw them in the movie, and I liked the look of them. Now, my understanding is that they was hanging there as additional protection against shelling. Am I right in thinking that they had these on the sides just to give the side armour a little bit of extra thickness? And, yeah, but... yeah, so that's where I got the idea of them from, and yeah, they're going to be tethered and all of that lot. Would a Jag Panther have Zimmerit on the side armour Panzer? Also, any tips for a good reference photo? He says, on the whole sides, but very rarely on the side skirts. There you go. Jeff says, my favourite film clip is when Fury goes head-to-head with a tiger and ends with the dance of death. Yeah. Felice says it's made his build a lot easier. Many thanks. Panzer's admitted that he's Scottish. I look for free stuff. The mushrooms were full size, but I rescaled them to 35th. Exactly. I mean, you know, we have got loads and loads and loads of stuff that we've acquired through numerous 3D print sites, and yeah, some of them, you know, you have to pay for and you're licensed for and things like that, you know. And I've been asked before about, oh, could you print me that? And it's like, well, it's a paid file and I've got a license where I can print for my own use. But yeah, you've got to be so careful with it. Right, let's have a looky-loo at this bad boy. Peel that off of there. I've got a feeling that that's already off of the plate there. There you go. So, and put that on there. Saves me having to do that. Happy days. Then we can get rid of the nub. The nub, he says. The nub. Get those on there. He says, yes, they were to stop bazooka-type round from penetrating the hull, kind of like modern slat armor. Yeah, I just was curious. I thought, what a great improvised idea. You know, and it's like, just goes to show you, doesn't it, what folk in the field had to do and had to use just to protect themselves. But yeah, Fury is a beautifully done film. It's quite a poignant film, really, and I've seen so many people build the model kit now of the Sherman on the Crossroads, and yeah. But yeah, good film. And yeah, it does look very cramped. It's one of them. I'd like to do one of these with a full interior at some point. Do it as a museum cutaway type thing, you know, so look out for that one. I've got a Ryefield up there that is already pre-cut, and I'm going to have fun doing a little vignette for that, because why not? I'm not going to give the game away on that one. But yeah. Just get rid of the sharp edges there. Nice. Because if anyone's going to cut themselves on a shard of photo etch, it's going to be me, isn't it? What's chat doing? That's everyone thanking Panzer. Oh yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge. When he's in the chat, make use of him, folks, because you know he works very, very long and very odd hours, so doesn't always get into every stream like he would like to. So pick his brains when you see him in there, folks. He doesn't mind. I think he's got a better reference library in his house than the Tank Museum has. He's got pretty much anything and everything about everything in there. I think his man cave is Doctor Who's TARDIS, to be quite honest with you, because it's never ending, mate. Am I right in thinking that you now employ 3 different librarians just to go through your archives, mate? That goes up in there. Okay, and then that goes over it. Interesting. Pardon me. That's what it's saying. Tell you what, let's just put those protectors on there just for a moment. Put them in place. Don't want to lose them. All them bits there. So let's have a lookykins. They're saying that then goes up over there like so. And then through them holes goes that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see whether that'll attach to that first. This is going to have to be painted as well, isn't it? We should, in theory, be able to attach that to that. My fat fingers are not really helping me there, so let's just come down and see what I'm doing. Apparently that can go through them little pins in there. There you go. That's 1. That's 2, and that's 3. Then that'll all glue into the tank. Happy days. But yeah, getting that painted is going to be fun, isn't it? I might do that off the model as well. It's going to be quite a bit that gets added to this. And I might be able to scoot a brush under there, an airbrush. Yeah, well, quite why I just did airbrush noises, I don't know. Right. So that is going in there, and then we've got a flap to go in the front, so that'll get super glued in a moment. We then got flappages to go up in there. Is that for that little one there? So let's have a lookykins. Because we've got two viewports there. Yeah, right. Okay. T7. Cool. Did I cut one of them off already or not? Yes, I did. There it is. I knew I'd seen it. Over there. Right. Let's line that up and get a bit of flappage going on. Sorry it's been a bit itty-bitty tonight, folks, but it is that stage. But I think what I will do is go through a lot of this itty-bitty stage and just add the stuff to it just to get it done, because it just makes it easier on the viewer, doesn't it? So I'm going to line that there. And this, my powers of deduction will poke up the way. Let's just make sure I'm putting that up the right way. Mind you, it's the same angle, Cole, so view a bit of that. Poke that up like that. And then just drop the flap forward. Just to get the angle. There you go. Happy days. Right, so we got another one of those to put on the other side. So let's find that. We might as well get these bits and pieces on there because it all adds to the appeal of the vehicle, doesn't it? So let's grab those. Like so. Pop them back in there. And we can give that a little sandykins. But yeah, it's beginning to take shape. I like it, I really do. It's absolutely been a breeze of a kit to work on so far. Certainly very eye-opening for someone like me, the layman, because I am seeing things on this that I didn't see on the 35th Sherman that I've done. And what I'm actually doing with mine now is I am going to be doing a clone of this, because obviously when this is done, this leaves Festa Towers and it goes up to eModels. Now, I've watched Fox sulk mercilessly for about the last 5 years because he gave his eagle back and he misses it profusely. So I know that's coming. So what I'm going to do with my little 35th Sherman, which is just to my left, everything I do on this, I'm then going to mimic or do in 35th scale. So right down to the oddball character, all of that, it's all going to be recreated so that I end up with a 35th version of this. So when this goes back to eModels, when I'm having a massive sulk because I'm missing it, I can look round and see my little 35th version. So just my way of coping with the loss, because it's going to be an epic loss. But at the end of the day, it's eModels' property, so the least you can do is return it. A flappage, have you some of that? So that's that, and then we can pop that on. Let's get a bit of rocket on there. Let's find a bit of a card to give a dabbage. Don't need much. Yeah, Fox is going Eagle, maximum sadness. Yes, mate, it's one of them, innit? Yeah, and I know I'll miss this because it has been fun to do. Steep learning curve, but an enjoyable learning curve, if I'm honest. Certainly going to stand me in good stead for when I do the rest of my armour build, so yeah. But it's like anything, it's going to take a lot to compare to this, I must admit, because once you've done something 16th scale, I suppose everything else is just not worthy, is it? Who knows? We'll see. A bit of that on there. Let's put another dab on there just to give that a bit more. Because yeah, I didn't put enough on my cardboard. Better to have too much than too little. he says. You will come out. Put that grill on. And we can do a bit of chat, darling, and then we'll wrap up for the night. I think. I'm getting hungry, and yeah. So we can place that on there, and on there. Without, he says, without adhering yourself to it. It's got one little pin there to pop in. You will go in, he says optimistically. There you go. Get my tweezers of tweezerness on there just to engage that pin. There you go. You can let that settle, and then that'll go something like that in there with its mesh. Again, I'll spray this off the build, and then it'll be applied to the tank once everything's done. Pop that over there out of the way, put my super glue over there because I will stick myself to it. And then we can have a little pre-prep planage on where we're going from there. So we've done that. Got to do these during the week. I'll do them and get the lights in place, but I won't put the lenses in yet, or I could put them in and I could mask them. That's a thought. They got caps to go in. Doesn't look like it. That one has got protector on the front. Okay, and then what else have we got? That little cover that goes in there. I've got that on there. No, I haven't. So let's find that. Something else that can go on. Why not? We'll scoot through and we'll just look for large bits now that we can throw in. I could throw in. I've done my handles yet. They're hinges. Done some hinges. Got handles as well. Happy days. Let's find that. Which is just there. We've got a little hatch there, 52, so let's find 52. It's surprising, again, like I think I've already said it, all these little details that you wouldn't normally spot. It is beautifully crafted, I must admit. That's the thing I've noticed with this kit, is the quality of the pieces. It really has opened my eyes. Yeah. We've got little hatches there as well. Oh, happy days, we can get some of these on them. Why not? Yeah, let's give that a deft little dress up there, just over them leading edges. So, and then we can orientate that. So apparently it goes that way round. The handle going that way. Something like that. Have you a bit of him? By powers of deduction, I should be able to spin that round. Yeah, let's see whether I can get the extra fin to go in through there. Might as well. Like that. I think. Just flop that photo etch there, nice and safe, I think. Oakley dokily. So we've got 54 and 55. We might as well get these on as well. Because, yeah. But yeah, I don't know what it is about the Sherman. I think a lot of people seem to have it in their hearts, don't they? Am I right in thinking it wasn't the most bulletproof of tanks? It had its weaknesses, but most people I know always seem to want to do a Sherman build. Why is that? Why is it such a popular choice? Is it because it's served with such distinction, or people have got a soft spot for it because it was an Allied tank? You know, it's always fascinated me what it is with the Sherman, why it stands out. It's a bit like the Spitfire, I suppose, isn't it? You know, people will always do Spitfires and Lancasters, but tend not to do Hurricanes and Shackletons. And yeah, I'm just curious as to what the love affair with it is, almost, because not being my chosen genre, I tend not to know too much about armour. Anders says, I'm thinking if Zimmerit was cracked and missing after battle, there would only be red primer under it. Dio ideas forming here, yeah. Yeah, he said it was applied over red oxide primer and any edges would show up as a pale buff colour. That's what this is, getting primed in red oxide. He says the Germans were future-proofing their tanks against Allied weapon advances. The British also developed a rubber-based anti-magnetic mine covering. Yeah. That's great info, thanks. Colin, be careful with that vent thing you just laid on the hull, says Anders. Yeah, was afraid you feed a carpet monster with it. Ah, right, it was the only successful Allied tank of the war after the T-34. Anders says it's one of the iconic tanks amongst the Tiger and T-34. Yeah. Lord Bartley says the Americans gave us 800 of them during the war. Yeah, I was just curious because obviously I'm not an aficionado. Yeah, I like to know these little things because yeah, it's just one of them. It features heavily in everything, so I was just curious about the history of it, and yeah, because obviously tigers are tigers, aren't they? You know, it's one of them. Sherman's had a reputation for being easy to knock out, he says, but this is because the Germans tended just to keep hitting them to make sure they weren't recovered. Yeah. Am I right in thinking that the Tiger didn't particularly like getting shot in the backside? Am I right? Well, if you shot it in a certain place on its rump, that it would pretty much render it useless? Or is that a myth? But yeah, the Venter photo etch, Anders, is nice and safely secured, mate, just at the back of the bench there, mate, because, yeah, it would have ended up with the carpet monster. Like I say, I'll be able to get to it with the airbrush, so I'm not worried about painting it, but, yeah. So I can honestly sit here now and say, yeah, I did a load of photo etch on my Sherman. Yeah, there it is. If anyone criticises me for not doing photo etch, I say, yeah, I did a load on the Sherman. Thank you very much. Yeah, all one piece of it. Right, we've had some hinges on there. So we've got a couple of handles to go on. Let's just rest that on there just for a moment. There are the handles. Probably further back, Carl. Yeah, there you go. Let's grab them. Start dressing that up. And I think if I dress the back end of this up, that'll be enough then, and we can call it a show. So that's my thinking. Because we're 1:45 now, so yeah, that'll be perfect. So I can just dress up these covers, and then we can start packing up for the night. So we got that, and that. Got hinge as well. Yeah, it says optimistically. Let's grab that sprue. So it might be on there. Oh, M5. Have you some of that? See that? Try not to knock your camera, Colin. That'll give me another handle for that side. Then we can do the hinges as well. Don't want too much glue on there, Carl. Just a smidge. Get tweezers off tweezer picking us out. And we can grab that. Grab an hinge, M2. We might as well put them on. He says looking for M2, which is just there. And for that, yeah, okay. By powers of deduction, it should then be one of those. I'll get that side of the door done. Just like that. And there's all these little bits that I'm flicking over the back there, the ear rolls as I call them. I can then go around my little Hoover later on and get all of them back. It just saves me pinging them on the floor. Because, yeah, it can be a bit annoying if you keep treading on them. So I just ping them in the little corner there. And then Hoover will come out. And then I'll be going, what's with all these little ear rolls in this corner? Works a treat for me. I've got an inch with an H. Might as well grab that on there. Gosh, tweezers of tweezerness coming out. And then we can pop that just in place, he says, without it getting stuck to your tweezers, Colt. Come on. There you go. Just like that. And then we've got the other half of the hinge then to go on that side. So, teensy-wincy dab. Cover both bits, that's what we want. Purely and simply because when I do that, we want it to grab on the hinge and onto the hole. Okay, so that's one side done and dusted. All tanks don't like being shot in the bum, he says. That's where the armour is the weakness. Yeah, hence the death of Death in Fury. Yes, exactly. Because I can remember in Kelly's Heroes, they shot one up the bum as well, didn't they? If you knock out Tank's engine, it just becomes a static pillbox, which will easily be bypassed. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it, mate? Why don't they have such strong armour on the back, then, if they know that the engines are that vulnerable? Why is it they don't have a lot of armour there, then? Because, am I right in thinking the modern Abrams as well, that's a little bit tender on its rump? Anders says it's bedtime for me, 6 hours until the alarm goes off. You take care, Anders, mate. Many, many thanks for coming in and keeping me company. Lord Bartley says the Tiger tank model parts are all over the Eagle. Good kit donor for parts and sci-fi kits, yes. Again, I can remember being sat in a zoo with Panzer one night, which talked about the Millennium Falcon, and he was just sitting there reeling off all these tank parts that were on it. I'm like, that is a good memory. So, yeah. All right, so we got all of that. That's for that one. That's for that. Okay, so it's same for those as well. Happy days. So let's grab those. We can get this last door done, I think, for tonight. And then we'll call it then. Let's get a pair of handles. Is there any more hinges on there? Yes, there is. So we might as well nab that hinge. Hinge, he says, hinge. Over there. That half an hinge as well. So, So that's the handles and that from there. And then we'll do the same on this one. So we've got another handle just there. And the 2 R's of the hinge. And that will give us both them rear doors or covers done. And yeah, we can cool it then. View some of that. So let's get these all cleaned off. Could the engine overheat if too much steel was around? That's a good shout, mate, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that is a good shout. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah, too much heat around there. It's just going to basically create a sauna, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good shout, mate. See, I knew you was a lord for a reason, mate. Being a lord is much better than being a GNU. His ears will be pricking now. He'll be, I am here, you know. Let's just get that trimmed off. And another one there. Bosh. So we can put these back in storage because they've done their use tonight. Don't forget, folks, if you want a pair of them, Blade 1 nippers, head over to eModels, go and grab yourself a pair. You can get yourself some sanders at the same time then. See what I did? Right, don't need super glue. Super glue is the devil's glue. So, yeah, this is me, don't forget. Let's get the handles on and then we can get the last hinges on. Wrap up. So let's grab that. It'll scoot through the brush there. Deftly, he says. Putting them on like so. Oh, wow, that went in first time, Carl. Don't overplay that, mate. Leave it be, because the minute you fettle is the minute you'll fudge it. Same there, just run that along the brush. Works for me doing it that way. Pink, there you go. Another handle. Handles for tanks. And then that should give me these little bad boys. All the way along there. Get them in place. Yeah, I could just imagine that 1/16 RC. I bet that was a thing of beauty, mate. Did you do proper tank noises with it? Please tell me you did. Grab that hinge there. And again, I shall pop round with a bit of extra fin in a few areas just to make sure everything's bitten. Yeah, come on. It will come out, really. Perhaps you won't. Let's go. There you go. You're in there. And that should now just leave me these two. Let's just put a dab of glue like I did before just across the two pieces there so I can just drop them in situ then. Because they're a little bit awkward for me to pick up. There you go. We made it. Phew. Like so. Like so. I've used some of that. And then I can quickly dab a bit of extra fin just around the edge of that one. And then just press that back into place. And that is coming along quite nicely. There's holes here as well for something. I'm not sure what. I'm going to have a little perusal. just to see whether it tells me further on what them holes are for. Yeah, you've got hinges there, hinges and handles. For that lot, yeah, we get that. All day long. Yeah, happy days. They then go into place, all well and good. Yeah, it looks like there's some kind of bit that goes on top there, so we'll have a look for that. Cool. So I'm going to wrap it up there for the night, folks, and have a breather. But yeah, we've got a little bit done tonight, not a massive amount, but we got some stuff done. We've got vintage, some hatches and stuff finished off to go on there. They'll then open up yay degrees there. I've got to modify these just to trim them. We then got my gun bit that goes in over there. Let's just move that safe. So yeah, this is all the little fiddly bits, but I think what I'll do just to speed this up for you is some of the bits I'll go ahead and attach off air, these little finicky bits, because it just gets them done then, doesn't it, and lets us get on, because I've got all the big wheels to finesse and all of that lot. So yeah, all the small stuff I'll do off air, I think, and play catch up. I'll pre-build me lights and things like that, and I can dry fit it just to see if I can put the shrouds on and leave the lights off to paint them. So yeah, it gives me a chance to have a bit of a fettle, a finagle. But for the moment, I'll call it a show. Just have a quick scroll up in the chat. Everyone's saying good night to Anders. Retro says, trying to make dinner, he says, without using every pot and pan in the house. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. Bobbin says, also, it would be difficult to do the repairs on the engine if it's under a few heavy plates of armour. That's a good shout. Panzer says, Colin, tank design is a trade-off between protection, firepower and mobility. You can only have two of those depending on national armoured vehicle doctrine, right? He says engines are designed around ventilation, and that's taken into account during the design. It's gearboxes that tend to fail, not the actual engine. Philip says, going to grab an early night. Take care, stay safe. No worries, Philip. We're coming off air now anyway, mate. He also says, catch you tomorrow night. Fox says, thanks for the stream, Festa. Take care, be good and stay safe. So yeah, it's a bit higgledy-piggledy tonight. I wasn't massively organised tonight because I didn't know whether I would be streaming when my broadband went down yesterday. So everything was a bit lastminute.com for me tonight. But I should do, like I say, all the small stuff off air. And then hopefully the week after next, we can be putting wheel mounts and things like that together, ready for starting priming some of this. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to out of interest, Panzer, Sherman's red oxide. Is red oxide their base colour, mate? Their primer colour? Out of interest, I think you mentioned it earlier, but I couldn't remember whether you meant Sherman's as well, because I'll red oxide this in preparation then, mate. Lord Bartley says, night all in all, and have a good night. You take care, my lord. Always lovely to see you in, mate. A massive privilege that you all come in and keep me company. It really does mean a hell of a lot. So until the next time, me and Fox are back Wednesday 9 p.m. on this channel, eModels' channel, continuing our Wednesday show, so tune in for that. I'll then be back on Friday for a frolic with Fox on my own channel, so that's Festa 67's workshop, in case you don't know. Panzer says red oxide is acceptable. Is that a thing, is it? Because obviously where I want some of the scratches and shell, I say shell, but ricocheted bullet holes and things, you know, it's, yeah. All right, mate, no worries. So until then, folks, I'll love and leave you, and we will see you on Wednesday for the Wednesday Workbench Live, folks. Until then, stay safe and well out there. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for keeping me company, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye.